Hello folks, and Happy New Year.
You know, I do not promote my channel on any social media. I don't pay for any promotions. I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I buy my own stuff. You'd probably be pretty surprised at how little money I get for the amount of hours I spend trying to help folks who could have the same issues with something they bought or may want to buy. And in my videos longer than 10 minutes, I purposely do not allow ad breaks in the middle, as I personally hate those distractions. It's not about the money for me, but the love of the hobby. I think I live pretty modestly after the fire and don't have unlimited cash flow, as I'm 75 and on Social Security, so I watch my money. You know, this Cub cost $279, plus I also had to buy a receiver for $50, not to mention the NX8 transmitter I already had. Now I have to spend another $30 to fix it. So you add that all up and have to buy a couple of batteries too, it's just a little over $1,000. So hence this is the reason for this video, and hopefully to help you in some way by making you aware what could happen to you, because mine's now broke. You know, I wasn't really going to show you how I fixed this because I thought it would be just an easy quick fix. Well, it turned out to be a pain, so I think for sure I'm not going to be the only guy who's had this happen to, so I'm going to show you how to fix it.
This first flight highlights with my Super Cub was my test flight. I flew at stock with 11.1 2800 milliamp LiPo. Any new planes I get, I always fly them with the stock setup before I actually try to do any modifying, because you may not need to modify anything. I did throw away that V2 gyro system though, because I don't need it. It was stinking gyros. It was 16 degrees and the winds were 16 gusting to 22. Well, after making some changes, which I'll explain later, I flew it the second time in better conditions and the sky was beautiful, as you will see. It wasn't as cold because it was warmer, 20 degrees, and the wind was only gusting to 10. So much less wind chill. That's what really gets you. Well, basically that's a calm day for us anyway. You know, if you live here in the Midwest, you have to become an extreme weather pilot or you just get to fly. I don't see many folks braving the cold and snow to fly like I do, but, you know, we crazy Marines.
Well, this really sounds like a neat idea, but you got to have time to use it. You know, finding this switch fast, which way to switch it, and then deciding if you really want to use it is sure intimidating.
Well, now maybe because I fly in extreme cold and wind, that may have had an effect on this plane that I heard was indestructible.
And we have to land on the runway because there's just no choice without walking into deep snow and climbing barbed wire fence.
But this failure could actually happen to you as well. It's a fluke probably, I don't know, you'll see. This kit was very easy to put together and I've done it in about 45 minutes. I'll be faster, but you know, I had to take pics, right? And to those of you who have followed me on my channel for years know I'm no stranger to Cubs. My big 96-inch Cub has a Sato 124 stroke in it and it sounds great. I love it. And I'm also a big fan of yellow, as Cubs are basically known for that. But there seems to be a lot of white ones as well. They don't show up in the sky as well when cloudy or when my gradient glasses get so dark I can't see. This FMS Cub is really not much bigger than the Hobby Zone one, but the landing gear is what it's all about.
There you go, sir.
Okay, it's all together, and this is the main flight, followed by the second flight with the failure. After that, I will give you my comments, so here we go.
Same way with this, couple of stills.
Yeah, to start with.
See how this snow bush plane does in the snow.
Oh, that is deep.
Okay, now that the test flight is done, and I think I'm going to increase the control rods by moving all the control rods to the outside hole in the servo arms. That gives it maximum throw. That should make it a little more snappier, and I'm going to fly it again. Well, it doesn't have enough power to hold the hover, but you know, the real Cub doesn't hover anyway, so I'm not bothered by that, because that's what my helicopters are for. This is absolutely the noisiest tail wheel.
Whoa. That little thing broke the servo. I'll be damned. Well, that sucks. So much for the most indestructible airplane that they make. Oh man, my hands are frozen.
That should be a Metal Gear servo right there. That's the noisiest tire.
So that's it, folks. The Super Cub ain't bad, but I am disappointed in the servo on the rudder tail wheel. These tail wheel servos are high stress areas and should always be metal geared. Maybe the cold flying made it brittle, but I never really had that happen before any of my other planes. And I fly a lot in the cold. I'm going to replace it now with a metal geared one and put some grease on that noisy tail wheel as well. Well, I thought I had it made because I actually had a 20-inch servo extension. I plugged it in and pulled the bad servo out while stringing the extension behind it. Perfect. Well, then after plugging in the new servo, when I tried to get that connector through that invisible hole, it unplugged, and that was that. I had no idea how to get a string or anything actually through there. It's impossible to see any holes.
Well, this wire is very long, and that goes to the elevator servo. The rudder servo wire, as I tried to pull it through, it absolutely would not go through. There is a bulkhead somewhere back here in this area, right there. And I don't know, I can't see in there. I can't see anything down in there. I can't push even a push rod wire, a hard wire through there to get it. So I'm not sure how I'm going to get that wire in there, but this is a pain. As far as I could get this hard wire in there, right up to there. So I've marked it, and I'm going to cut access and a hole in here so I can get the wire through. The thing is, getting this extension wire through. If I can't do that, I'm going to have to solder the wires, cut and solder the wires, which I will do. Well, this is the biggest pain in the butt I've ever seen. To get that wire in there and through that plastic box, I've actually had to make a wire like this so I can pull it out. Because it's got a very long wire, and if you put the extension on there like I did, it unplugged when I pulled it out, even though I had it taped.
Well, as you can see, I had to take the old servo wire off the bad servo and solder it on to the new servo. Then stringing it was still quite tricky, so you're seeing now how I did it. At this point, I wished I'd have put an external wire on it.
Because I know how this stuff is. Just on this side. Now that's the way it's supposed to work.
So if this happens to happen to you, then I hope this video helps you understand what you will have to do to fix it. I also got rid of that V2 reflex gyro setup before I even flew it, as you know from my other videos how I feel about gyros. There's also lights on the wings, but not one on the tail, so I'm going to have to add one to fly it in the dark, and you know I have them too. Well, I really appreciate the gift from Ilea and her dedicated camera work as well. Well, this FMS Super Cub easily fits in my car without me disassembling it, so it's really great one to grab and go for a quick flight, and that's what it's all about. It is fun. The machine feels heavy, but definitely it floats. There is no need for flats, as I tried them on the first flight, but with our high winds, it has plenty of lift by itself. Well, thanks so much for watching my first video of hopefully a good new year for everybody. So stay well and stay safe. This is Dave the Night Flyer, signing off till next time.